me on the call. Some of the things that you covered, I'm going to touch on briefly before I get into the meat of this, but I wanted to say the theme of this talk tonight is Og Mandino's 10 Commandments of Leadership and 10 Vows of Success. And if you don't know who Og Mandino is, go online and read about this man. First, I'm going to talk about my JuicePlus journey and my business. As Craig said, I learned about JuicePlus in 2002 from my wife, Sue. And interestingly, we started the product right away. Sue said to me, we weren't married yet, and Sue said, you know, we're going to be together a long time. I think we both ought to do this. And I said, okay. I mean, what was I going to say? No. And so we started the product. It was only the greens and the reds then. There was no vineyard. It was still in the test stage with heart patients. So we started with the greens and the reds, and the product lines have changed a little bit since we started, but it was amazing. The company then was National Safety Associates, and they were selling air and water filters, and we sold and used those products. In fact, the NSA whole house filter we still use in our home here in Arizona, and the products were awesome. As an attorney, I researched NSA, and I had several clients who came to me in the 80s. One lady in particular who was a friend of my mom's for many years, her husband had passed and left her a bunch of money from life insurance, and she said, what do you think about getting involved in this business? And I said, let me take a look at it. So I looked at NSA. I really didn't have a problem. The problem I had was that this woman had no business skills, and of course, hello?
None.
All right, well, that's my fault then.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You hear me now?
Anyone who's out there, see, I'll mute. I'm trying to mute everyone. Apologize about that.
That's all right.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. In any event, I looked at a number of businesses, for example, Amway and Nu Skin, and a number of network marketing businesses that were big in the 80s. In fact, I had family members in other network marketing. And most of the folks, when I looked at these businesses, I said, don't get involved, save your money. They were buyers clubs, they were pyramid schemes, they were not for the weak of heart. And you know, how many people can sell toilet paper and paper towels from their garage when you can buy them down the street at your local supermarket? Sue joined the business immediately, and my story is, I told her, I'm a lawyer, I am not going to talk about JuicePlus to my clients, period. And the reason for that was I was too cool. I say that I had TC for JP, too cool for JP, and I still talk about that. I was too cool. And actually, the first customer I had when I joined the business in December of 2005 was my CPA friend and client. And I told him, well, I have this great product, give me your credit card, you're gonna order it. And when I went home and told Sue, she said, this is not the way we do the business. And I told her, I said, well, I told him I loved him and I really cared about him, and he'd been through some health challenges, and I wanted him to try the product. Interestingly, 2 weeks later, his wife called and said, order some for me. I actually got involved seriously in 2005. I went to a conference and heard Ron Blue speak from the front of the room. His wife, Judy, was an NMD, and Ron talked about his entree into the business and how it had evolved. And the thing that's interesting about why I even sat in my seat and listened to him was, a friend of Sue's who's a retired CPA said, if the JuicePlus company is engaging a man like this to speak from the front of the room, you go and you sit and you listen. And it changed. It changed my whole perspective, and it gave me a new perspective on the business and the company. I'm a sales coordinator, as Craig said. In Arizona, I focus on tower gardens and growing my business. So basically, there's 3 doors, and I have chosen as my favorite one here, because I love working with kids, to the tower garden is what I do here primarily. Now, let's talk about Og Mandino. There's a lot of people who don't know about Og, even though he's world-renowned as an author. He was an American author. He lived to the age 72, And he died interestingly, in 1996. And there's still so many people worldwide who are his disciples in his business trainings. He worked after he got out of the military in World War II for an insurance company and became a management folk there. And his passion was writing. He was an editor, but he never was fulfilled in the insurance business. And as I read, he went one day to a bookstore in Concord, New Hampshire, the birthplace of liberty, and he's read W. Clement Stone's book, which is called, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, W. Clement Stone. And he also got Napoleon Hill's book and a couple others. And so he cites Napoleon Hill, W. Clement Stone, and the Bible as his favorite readings. What's also interesting about him is he was an alcoholic. He nearly gave up on life, but he overcame some huge obstacles, and I believe that's how he became such a popular writer. He sold more than 50 million books worldwide, and they still sell at great numbers. Mandino's book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, which is this book right here, and the sequel to that, which is The Greatest Salesman in the World, Volume 2, are the books that I'm using for tonight's talk. This book was published in 1968. The sequel to it was published in 1988. And it's amazing how they are great trainings. And so the question I am posing is, why these books? Why are these books by this author what I chose for tonight? Well, I believe this: we are all salesmen. We are all salespeople. And what do we sell? We sell ourselves. And for many of us, selling ourselves is the hardest part. We can sell a product, but when it comes down to selling, we sell ourselves. And when do we sell ourselves? Every day. Every day we sell ourselves when we talk to people about what our passion is. The Greatest Salesman started with a printing of 5,000 copies, but interestingly, Rich DeVos, the co-founder of at a conference, introduced Og's book and told his people in attendance to buy the book and read it. And when that happened, 350,000 copies were sold. Bantam bought the rights to Og's book, and he wrote under Bantam Books for the rest of his career. Now, here are the 10 commandments of leadership from the Greatest Salesman from this book, the 10 Commandments. Number 1, I will form good habits and I will become their slave. Number 2, I will greet this day with love in my heart. This is a big deal because so many people are stuck in the drudgery of work, but this is about greeting the day with love in your heart and high energy. Number 3, I will persist until I succeed. Persistence, dedication is one of the keynotes of Og Mandino's theories about success. And persistence is one of the things that are the most difficult challenge. I will live this day as if it's my last, and nothing else needs to be said about that one. I will be the master of my emotions. Craig's down at Q School, and Jeff Roberti and all of the leaders talk about the disappointments in this business. One of the things that is a key note here is disciplining your disappointments. In other words, getting a hold of your emotions, mastering your emotions. The next one, I will laugh at the world. Laugh and the world laughs with you. Cry and you cry alone is an old familiar saying. But here's something that also is really interesting, and that is we are the only animal on the face of the earth that has the ability to laugh. And laugh a lot and laugh at the world and your life will experience higher energy. Number 8, I will multiply my value 100-fold. Everyone on this call is multiplying their value in some form tonight. Craig and Andy are multiplying their value by being at Q School and listening to these great leaders. And so this is a part of your growth and expansion. Number 9, I will act now. Now is the time. It's the day that God gave us. Act now. Do not procrastinate. Move forward. And number 10, I will pray for guidance. So these 10 are Og's principles from his first book. How do these translate in the presentation for tonight, especially for men? I know Brian and I were talking before the call started about men in this business. And what's interesting is during NSA's Air and Water Filters Day, about 80% of the representatives in the business were men, 20% women in the business. Now it has flip-flopped. But this is not a business that's exclusively for women, and there is a niche and a door and a number of opportunities here for men to do the business the way they do it on purpose for the benefit of mankind. So the second book of The Greatest Salesman generated the 10 vows of success. And I have to give a whole lot of credit for this part of the presentation to Natalie Baldock, who's an NMD from Perth, Australia. Last week we were the beneficiaries of watching the Pajama Regional, which was Friday night and Saturday, and the speakers were amazing. It was hosted by Courtney O'Donnell, and Natalie kicked it off on Friday night on a Zoom call from Australia, and she was amazing. She used both of Og's books, the first one and part 2, and generated and fashioned 10 principles of engagement. And they are right on for our business. Number 1, never ever will I pity or belittle myself. That was her lead off. It was amazing. And quite frankly, we have voices in our head that tell us, no, you can't do this. That is belittlement, and it doesn't work. Stop the negative self-talk. We are all creatures here with a purpose, and some people, it takes them a while to find it, but negative self-talk stops us in our track. When I help someone get better, I get better. It's a domino effect, and it comes around full circle. When I help someone get better, I get better. The only power you have is now. Now is the time. Use it. Use it, use it, use it. Be engaged. Number 2, never ever will I greet the day without a plan or a roadmap. This is where the rubber meets the road. And for many people, this is difficult. I have a lot of difficulty with it because my training as a lawyer was to be all over the place. And so being systematic was not my forte, but I've done better through numerous trainings and learning the hard way. What you want, you crave, you desire, you believe, you dream, put it on a dream board, write it down, memorialize it, do something that is going to inspire you to look at it. Before we moved here, I had a dream board in Indiana, and I put a picture of the house that I wanted to live in here in Arizona. Our house isn't exactly like that, but the landscaping that surrounded that house on the dream board is what we have here. Cactus and all kinds of wild stuff, and I love it, and I love it being here. Number 2, here's a question. How can I enjoy and appreciate humanity? Natalie asked that question, and it's really very probing. How can I enjoy and appreciate humanity? Well, the answer to that is through purposeful engagement, being attached, getting involved with folks, and doing things on purpose, for purpose, and being in contact with people. That's what this business is about. JuicePlus is the side to this business. This is a business about people and learning about them. Number 3, I will always bathe my day in joy and enthusiasm. Sometimes that's tough. First bit of advice is turn off the news. And if you can't turn it off, limit the amount that you watch. Enthusiasm is a Greek word, and the root of that word is theos, enthusiasm, and it means God inspired. God inspired. Enthusiasm trumps everything. When I did a presentation the first time I talked, I made a ton of mistakes. I talked about the heart study, the JACC study that is so important. And I stood at the front of the room and talked about when they took the people to McDonald's, and I blew it. I had notes, I read it, I just said it wrong. But I was enthusiastic. And when I got done with the talk and Sue said, what you said really wasn't as accurate as it should have been, I thought, well, they'll never ask me to speak again. Well, here I am, and I've spoken at other things, and I'm a little bit more careful when I talk about the research now to use the real facts. So, enthusiasm trumps everything. Be enthusiastic. When you're at the front of the room, if you're talking about A plus B equals C, just be enthusiastic about it. Never again will I be disagreeable to a living soul. That's number 4. Never again will I be disagreeable to a living soul. Simple acts of love and kindness will change the world. They are the only thing that ever have. And I will say this, for guys, when you get up in front of the room or you're talking to somebody, show your heart. As Roberti says, get out of your head and get into your heart. That's where connections are. Do it that way. Do it that way. The results will be amazing. The highest energy comes from love, and that comes from your heart. Number 5, always will I seek the seed of triumph in adversity. The triumph in adversity. Winning in adversity. And Brian's an athlete. He knows about that, and many folks who are athletes know about it. Triumph in adversity. Here's the key to this, folks. People buy you. Then they buy what you sell or buy what you're offering. People buy you first. Then they buy from you. Where do you shine the most, folks? Write it down. What are your positive strengths and attributes? How do you shine? Remember in E.T. when he showed his heart light shining and the kids connected to it. That's what we all have in us. It's a little bit difficult for us to bring it out, and sometimes a little bit more for men to bring it out, but bring it out. Show your heart light and shine your best. Relationships are everything. I don't need to expound on that. They are. Relationships are everything. Transfer your success activities to the people you touch. We learn and we touch people, and transfer your success activities. What works for you? Transfer it to the folks around you and help them. Here's something I want you folks to write down, or at least to consider. This is from me. Everyone comes from a broken place. Everyone. Everyone comes from a broken place. But that break in us is where the light of redemption and worthiness can shine through and restore us. And the people in this business do this. And it's one of our jobs and missions in this business is to restore faith in humanity that is let down by things like disease and illness and lack of income, etc. Number 6, never will I do anything halfway at less than my best. It's interesting, our speaker Natalie said, never will I do things half-assed. And I thought, you can't say that. Well, she did. And she said, sorry, but it's what we say down here in Australia. That's true. And here's the thing. Get out of your entitlement zone. We're not entitled to anything God gave us this day. We're not entitled. We're just a part of the world. Do and shine. Number 2, Here's something that I always ask people if they've heard about, and then say, go ahead and read it if you are so inclined. Mother Teresa's The Final Analysis is very important. It talks about what's important and how we live in relationship and really what matters. Number 7, always throw yourself into the task at hand 100%. That's Og speaking. 100% throw yourself in the task at hand. You might not do things really well, but if you do them 100%, you're not going to get up and say, I really didn't do so well on that. You're going to say, I did my best. I threw myself 100% into it. And this is a part of our business. Learn to teach, then teach to teach. That's how you raise your babies up. And guys, there's ways that you can teach and learn in this business and be impactful. And we're waiting for men in this world to do that. And this business is a perfect opportunity for it. Number 8, never will I wait and hope for opportunity knock on my door. Opportunity may knock on your door well after other people have taken advantage of that opportunity. Do not wait. God rewards the brave. You get rewarded when you step out. Take 7 seconds of courage each day and do something scary, real scary, way out of your comfort zone. One of the people on my Facebook page said, courage is built with dreams that scare the crap out of you. You know, that's probably as true a statement I've ever heard. But most people, when they have that kind of a scare, they back off, they retreat. Change your rhythm, mix it up. Don't be on a straight track. Mix it up. Get your energy stirred up. Do things that are different, because that is what gets you fired up. You'll never know what is going to happen when you turn over a new rock or a new leaf. Here's something that I like to say. You are not really that big of a deal. Not really that big of a deal. In God's eyes, you're everything, but you're not really that big of a deal. You can become a big deal when you serve humanity and you do things that are beneficial to the world. Then you become a big deal in God's eyes. And the corollary to that is your vulnerability is your greatest strength. Be vulnerable, be open, be willing to make a mistake. Get out there. Most people don't know what we do. Get out there and do it. You're going to be teaching, and you're going to be vulnerable and show the ability to make a mistake. As a lawyer, people would ask me a question. I didn't know everything, but I always said, I can find out for you. In order to stay in balance, you have to get out of balance every so often. Think of the person who's on the tightrope, high wire with the big long pole, trying to walk across that wire the first time and tipping back and forth and back and forth. Those folks have courage times 10. But the more they did it, the more they got out of balance and came back into balance, the more they realized that they could do it. Number 9, I will never examine at each night my deeds of the fading day. I will never examine at night the deeds of my fading day. Meaning, don't look back. And if you had some problems that were serious challenges, you correct them in the days to come. You can't change history. You can't change what you've done. You can't change when you live in remorse and shame. Move forward. My deeds of today will be a history lesson for me. And here's the key to it. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful for everything. Gratitude is the oxygen for abundance. Gratitude is the oxygen for abundance. Write it down. I am truly grateful for, and draw some blanks and fill them in. And you find out as the day goes on, you got a whole lot of things to be thankful for, grateful for, practice gratitude. It's the oxygen of abundance. And number 10, I will always maintain contact through prayer with my creator, my source, my inspiration, whatever you feel is the guiding force in your universe. Constant contact or periodic contact through prayer and gratitude. The prayer of Jabez starts, bless me today, Lord, and indeed expand my territory. Bless me today, indeed, Lord, and expand my territory. That's a great prayer. It's in 1 Chronicles 4, 9, 10. And I recite it every day. Every day. Bless me today indeed. Now, I'm going to close here, and I'm going to read Success as Defined by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who actually is one of my favorite writers because of another inspirational speaker, Wayne Dyer, who I really enjoyed. And Wayne died last year. I really enjoyed his trainings. But Emerson was a man he quoted, and this is success. And I want you to listen to this because there's 3 components in this short piece that directly relate to what we do in Juice Plus. To laugh often and much. To win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children. Go plant a tower garden in a school and see how much the kids love what you do and what those plants represent. To earn the appreciation of honest critics, endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty. If you're having a bad day, go outside and walk around for 5 minutes, look at the sky and the clouds and what's around you. It'll bring you home to appreciating beauty. To find the best in others. To find the best in others. To leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has been breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded. That is Ralph Waldo Emerson's definition of success, and I love that. Thank you to Craig. Thank you to Brian, to all that are on. Thank you to my wife, Sue, who's always my inspiration and critic when I do the presentation, and it is so helpful. And I just enjoy what she's taught and what she brings to my life. It's amazing, and we do this business together. She's the technician, and she's great at it. So thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you.
So yeah, Greg, a question I ask everyone that speaks is, so in your business and Sue's business, and obviously you guys have been at this well over a decade with good success, what are the 3 things that you look at, on a, whether you call it a daily or weekly basis, that you guys do, or have done to, to reach NMD?
I actually consulted with Sue about this because I had my own thoughts, but here's what we do. And I do this better now than I used to, but it's still something that is a part of a daily method of operation, and that is to read your downline growth and PVC report. The numbers are there, and this is a numbers business. And one of the things in customer care that's so important is making sure that people want their product and that they know when it's shipping. And Sue has taught me well on this. Not as well as I need to be, but she's taught me well. Number 2, sit quiet and think about your business and who you can call. Quiet is when your inspiration comes about. So sit quiet and think about who you can call. And number 3 is touch your business every day. Watch videos, listen to Voxer, send videos, because we're learning to teach. And that is something that should be a part of our daily method of operation. And I think for most people it is in various types and forms. But touch your business every day. Voxer videos, this is so much easier than when we started in 2003 and passed out cassettes to people. So yes, those are my 3, Brian. Thanks for asking.
So with that, I'll go ahead and make it a little noisy, but I'm going to open it up to everyone. If anyone out there has questions,
Just can't wear a hat and shirt.
feel free to
shirt,
go
and
ahead
I'll wear
and
a hat
ask questions.
like, for the rehearsal. And I was like, I'm
All right.
respecting you to come in here, but I won't wear a hat here, buddy.
We're
I
getting
wore a
back
hat,
into
and
it.
it's like my religion. I wore a hat.
Thank you very much, Greg. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for being on.
There's a woman? Get out of here. No.
Pretty sure it's all known, though.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I don't know how.
Thank
Leave.
Bye, everyone.
Great. Thank you.